Last episode, we reached 2,000 days in our hardcore world, and since then, I've been doing a little bit of digging. Trading. Digging and trading. In fact, we've done so much, it's actually now day 2036. So yeah, we've spent 36 days basically digging a big hole. But what a mighty big hole it is. We've actually got 3 floors in here now. If we have a little look at this. We have so much space down here and a lot of storage to build. And in today's episode, I want to try and get more of this floor done. We have wired up all the redstone for the next 2 rooms, and I think I'm going to make this one the ocean room. So that means we're going to need to get all the sand and bits, we're going to need all the prismarine things, and we're probably going to put a big fish tank in the back here. But the good news is, from all this digging, I've been using the villagers to heal my pickaxes as I go, and that means we've also got loads and loads of redstone now. We've got at least 3 double chests of it, so hopefully we should have enough redstone to finish the rest of this storage system as well. And something else I'd like to do today, I think, is to get the roof on this bit here, which will actually help to pull it all together a little bit as well. So first things first, we need to go on a little gathering mission. We need to go get all the blocks that we're going to be storing in here and lay them all out and make sure that we've definitely got enough room down there. And we should probably go to bed, it's nighttime already. And with any luck, we might even get some of the contraptions at the top of the storage unit as well, which are actually going to sort all the unstackables, the shulkers, and all that malarkey. But let's see how we get on. Please don't be a creeper, please don't be a creeper. I hate this. I really need to make that portal safe. I've been shot by skeletons through there a couple of times, which means it's very possible for creepers to get in there as well, and I dread the day that happens. So I've got all the sandy bits together, I've got all the coral together, the snow, the ice, and all that malarkey, as well as some building blocks we're going to be needing. However, we do need to go take a trip over to the ocean monument. And there she is, coming out of the fog, our wonderful airship guardian farm. I love this build. And even though we only did a tiny bit of AFK here, we have so much stuff. We've already got some blocks made up, but we've also got just boxes and boxes of everything here. So we're probably never going to have to actually AFK here again. But let's just grab what we need. We'll grab some of them. We'll grab a whole bunch of these. A bunch of these as well. Should have brought an empty shulker with me, but I didn't. So let's just dump all this in the ender chest for now. Whoops. And we'll take a bunch of shards as well, because we're going to need to make some dark prismarine too. But I think that's now everything we're going to need to sort out this next part of storage, so let's head back and start this build. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is work out exactly where everything is going in here, and hopefully that's not going to be too difficult. Although if I put the coral down, it's going to dry out and die, isn't it? So yeah, we're going to need to flood that little bottom bit there. Let's grab some water, and if we just waterlog these slabs here, that should be enough to keep the coral alive. So I think I've got this laid out how I want it. We've got all the sand and sand variants here with big boxes. We're going to have all the slabs down the bottom, including snow layers, and then we're going to have all the stairs and walls at the top. On this side, we've then got all the main coral blocks. The actual bits of coral themselves are going to be in a different room. I've decided to categorize them elsewhere. And then we've got sponges, snow, we've got all the ice, although I have actually used a bit of blue glass there because the ice would just melt. And then, of course, the prismarine. So that should be everything we need in this room. We just need to make it look nice. And step 1 for that is to remove the floor and then rebuild it a block lower, because I think I want to use sand for this. And of course, without a supporting floor, that's never going to work. And I think instead of just sand, we'll mix in a little bit of sandstone here as well to give it a bit of texture. And we'll have a couple of bits of coral here and there as well. But if we're extremely clever, which has been known to happen, what we can do is waterlog a slab. And in theory, we should be able to actually keep the color in some of this coral. That'll be nice. Or not. Is it not going to work? Did I put it on the wrong one? I put it on the wrong one. Lovely, that's the floor done. Right, let's make a start on these walls, shall we? And I think I've got a rough idea of how I want to do this. We're going to make heavy use of prismarine in here, of course, to make it all look oceany and underwatery. And I think a small aquarium at the back here, just with a bit of movement and a bit of life in it, is going to look quite cool as well. And I might even sort of make it look a little bit like an ocean monument. We can have an arch ceiling, maybe. I don't know. I'm going to have a little play around, which means you're probably about to get a time lapse, and I'll bring you back in once we've got something a bit prettier to look at in here. It's a good start, but I think we need to get some texture in it. It's looking a little bit bland, really, isn't it? And for that, we're going to use a combination of this prismarine, and I think we're also going to use some copper, which I have had down here aging, and, well, not much has aged at all, really, yet, has it? Let's grab the ones that are almost there. Well, apart apart from the bits of copper that still need to change colour, I think that's looking pretty good. But once it is all this colour instead of this and this, it should actually tie in really nicely. The lighting's good, although we do need a logo in the floor, but we'll do that at the end. Next up, what I want to do is sort out a fish tank of some sort at the back here. I think it makes sense to make a sandy floor to begin with. So let's see what we can pull off. Pretty good. It just needs a bit of life in there now, and I seem to be getting some weird sort of texture effect. I wonder if that's the connected glass pack that's making the water look like that. I don't know. Either way, let's go catch some animals. Though it has just occurred to me I didn't add any sea pickles, and that just won't do. Much better. Brightens the place up too. One ocean room done. That's looking really cool. And hopefully we'll end up with a turtle in there as well, if that egg hatches. I don't know if it's a bit crammed in there, but hopefully we'll end up with a turtle. I guess we'll find out over time. The only other thing I want to do in here, I think, other than the logo, of course, which we'll get to in just a moment, is put another light in over here. This corner's looking a little bit dark. There we go, much better. Oh, we need to get some frames up as well. Let's quickly do that. And with that, that is all of the frames done. And I've also added a bit of sponge into the roof here, some wet sponge so it drips. And I think that just adds a nice little bit of watery effect there. That's quite cool. I've also managed to get all the frames in at the top here just to identify what all of these things are in these boxes. And we have one spare box over here. And we also have a spare column here, which is why I wasn't too concerned about covering it up a little bit. But the last thing to do is to put in a icon of some sort. So, well, you know, it needs to match up with the other ones, I guess. And I thought about this long and hard, and I think there's only one thing that can really go here, and that is, of course, a guardian. I did try a few other things here, like waves and like little islands and all sorts, but yeah, wasn't a lot of space to work with. So the guardian just works really, really well, and it adds a nice bit of color as well. So with that job done, it's time to move on to the last floor, well, the last corridor, I should say, on this floor. And this one is going to be a little bit more dark and mysterious than the ones we've done so far, because this corridor is going to house the nether blocks and the deep dark at the back of the room. So as you can see, we've got lots of boxes all lined out. Hopefully these are the ones we're going to need. I don't think we need any additional ones, and there should be a few left over as well, because I do like to build in a little bit of excess. But once again, the first thing to do is to head home, grab the blocks we need, and get them all laid out. I think we are done. Yep, that should work out quite well. Design-wise, I think we're going to have a nether section at the front here, and then we're going to have it a bit more deep slatey, deep cavey at the end here, and then we'll put a nice big cave at the back. First things first, though, let's dig out the floor and do the nether section. Looking pretty good. We've managed to get some nethery stuff in. We've made it look a bit like a fortressy bit with some other sort of red stuff at the top, and we've also got lots of glowstone and some of the lanterns, and overall I think that ties together quite nicely. But now it's time to crack out the deep slate, move on to the deep dark, and work out these sections here. Looking good. Now to do the next one. Well, despite running out of skulk and having to get more, we have completed the second room as well. And this one's basically the same as this one here. But as a whole, I think that's starting to look quite good. Yep, I like that. This is definitely going to work, I think. And now we need to do the cave at the back here. So let's see what we can rustle up. little bit dramatic, didn't it? Jeez. But I really like that room. I think that's come out really, really well. And at the back here, we did sneak back down to the deep dark. We grabbed ourselves one of these screamy things because, well, they're terrifying. And in theory, it should only set off if we're grabbing these sort of stairs and bits, which, to be honest, we're probably not going to use too much. So, yeah, we're likely to forget about that and make ourselves jump later on in the series. But, of course, no room is complete without a logo in the floor. And I think I know exactly what I'm going to do on this one. And there we go. Nice and simple. I think we've got ourselves a little ghast there. And hopefully that should work nicely. I did try putting a white one in there, but it was a little bit bright. But now with 4 rooms done up here, there's only one thing left to get this floor finished. And that is, of course, the roof here. And I think I'm going to try and do a domed roof. And this could be a terrible idea, but let's give it a go, shall we? There's an Enderman in my elevator. Well, as long as he's enjoying himself. Anyway, so I think I've just about laid out the dome roof. This should work quite nicely. I've just got to struggle to fill in the gaps now. And I think what I'm going to do is reflect the floor color. So this section here is going to be sort of sandy, although I guess I'm going to have to use sandstone. And then we'll have green terracotta, grey terracotta, red terracotta, and so on. Well, I've got the ceiling in. I love the shape, but it's mighty dark up there. So I wonder, reckon we can get a chandelier in of some kind? Oh yes, that's the one. That's looking much better. We can actually see what's going on up here now. We've got a lovely little shape going on, and I've also hidden some lights down here in these bits, which should light up the floor more. So overall, we're definitely looking a lot brighter, and I think this floor just needs one more thing, well, a few more things to bring this really to life, and that is to extend these rooms out a little bit. So for example, over here, I think I might stick out like a little bit of a fortress bridge, and then over here we could use trees, over here maybe even some more sponge. I don't really know. I'm gonna have a little play around, but that means we should also be able to bring some extra lighting into these corners here and have it fit in nicely. And let's get these boxes out of the way too so we can see the whole room properly. And with a few subtle extra bits in the corners here, I really like the bridge over here. I think that really does add a lot as well. And of course, these bits here, I think we're actually done on this floor, which means we have our first 4 corridors 100% complete. And not only that, we've also got all of the water streams in as well around the back here, so everything should work absolutely fine. And everything will actually be starting here. So this is where it's going to drop down from the floor above, and it will end over this side here. Somewhere around here. Where is it? Down here. And this is where it's going to drop down to the floor below and go around the next system and so on. However, we do need to, of course, use our dolphins around here. But we're going to have to save that for next episode because sadly, that's all we've got time for today. Only 2 more floors to go.